We're going to move on, though, to another fan base that I've already pissed off. They already hate me. This fan base is basically the Niners fan base of last year, and I gave the Niners more win this year, and the Niners still aren't happy with me. And we're talking about the Denver Broncos.
They'll never be happy with you.
Trevor Siemian, name the starter. Mark Sanchez, probably on the way out. Mark, I think that the the thing with this team, and maybe you're going to be on the other side like you were with the Dak conversation, this team, I think that the quarterback position is a bigger problem than everybody thinks it is. And the reason why I say that is, yeah, you can make the joke about how, Trevor Siemian went to Northwestern, so he's a
very
smart quarterback.
Very smart guy.
That's all sarcasm. We fucking know it.
He's a very smart guy.
Just like when you say Super Bowl, Super Bears, unless you're living under a rock, you know that Mark's being sarcastic. But I think this team, I don't care how good your defense is, 4 wins. 4 wins with your quarterback situation, especially now that Trevor Siemian's a starter.
Well, but I do have one. Well, I mean, you had them 4 wins either way. But you don't see Trevor Siemian as an upgrade from Mark Butt-Fumbling Sanchez?
Oh, he's an upgrade. I just don't think. Let's put it this way: 4 wins, no matter who you would have started. Like Mark Sanchez sucks. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Paxton Lynch is a rookie who John Elway, Kubiak, they don't even think he's going to be viable for this year. And then you got Trevor Siemian who, I got to commend him for winning the job from Mark Sanchez, but it's Mark Butt-Fumbling Sanchez. Yeah. Like, if you didn't win the job, I'd be like, well, you fucking suck, brah.
I do. I mean, now the most popular thing, which I think we need to give a little credit to Trevor Siemian for, is that yes, he was a 7th-round pick, but everyone keeps talking about how injury is the reason why he was a 7th-round pick. He was graded at like a 3rd, 4th-round pick. So I believe that he deserves our respect, especially mine, because I've been harping on the 7th-round pick thing for a while. So I want to give him a little bit of respect for that. Now, with that being said, he also threw 14 touchdowns or something like that, like 8 touchdowns? I don't know. It was a low amount of touchdowns this last year in college. So, and in Northwestern, which is not really that great of a football college.
Well, okay,
or sports college in general.
No. Northwestern, they had a down year. They had one down year hoping to come back, but Pat Fitzgerald had them. They were a decent team. They had one bad year.
So, the thing that I want to say is Trevor Siemian, I think he can do enough to be okay. I still have the, Denver Broncos as like a 6-7 win team. I just think they're going to be perfectly not even really average, but they'll be a slightly below average team. The thing that concerns me the most for Trevor Siemian and the Broncos organization is not that, he's not going to do so well necessarily, but it's more for the future that Trevor Siemian, if he, goes out there and they lose to the Panthers, Colts, Bengals, maybe they beat the Buccaneers, but they lose to the Falcons or something like that. If they start losing these games and just kind of rattling these off, eventually Paxton Lynch is going to start. He will start this year. I have zero doubt in my mind that Paxton Lynch will be starting at least by week 12. That's right after the week 11 bye. So that's going to be the worst thing for the Denver Broncos. They're trying to baby this guy as much as possible. They do not want to send him in. And if they really do cut Mark Sanchez, all of a sudden Paxton Lynch is the backup quarterback. He is one injury away, and we know how easy it is for quarterbacks to get injured now. He's one injury away from being on an NFL field playing NFL defenses. That's not what the Broncos want. They want him to sit there with his clipboard and just learn. They were basically going to have him as the reserve quarterback, probably or quite possibly not even dressing for certain games. Now, all of a sudden, I don't believe that Trevor Siemian is going to be good enough to keep the fans from wanting Paxton Lynch, to keep the pressure away from eventually we got to start Paxton Lynch. I firmly believe, like I said, by week 12, Paxton Lynch is starting for the Denver Broncos.
Well, and the one thing I look at is his time in college. He's been out of college for now. This would be technically his 2nd year. Like, he was 2014 was his last year at Northwestern. Haven't heard much of him. Like, with me, I want to say, was it him or Kane Coulter one of them were the ones that wanted the union for college football
I think it
players.
was Coulter. I
think it was Coulter. But like the thing that I know college is different than the NFL, but it worries me a little bit is so in college he played 13, 12, 11 games from sophomore to senior year. That freshman year he played 8. Sophomore year, his team went 10-3, 5-3 in conference. However, then it was 5-7, 1-7 in conference, 5-7, 3-5 in conference. Mm-hmm. I look at that and I go, "You were the main starting guy,
and you weren't winning games.
Like what happened? Like 10-3." And I look at it and I mean, yeah, you could say that. Well, Ricky in that first year that he had, maybe it was because he had that great running back. He had Verick Mack, and then didn't. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the guys they lost from that first year. So if I take that and say, okay, you're telling me it's the weapons that he had around him. Yeah, Denver's got good weapons, but it's one of those things where I look at it and I go, basically you are I don't want to say rookie because he's not a rookie, but he's pretty much a rookie.
Yeah, I think that's something that's interesting in this case. Aaron Murray right now from what was it? Georgia, right? And now he's a guy who might be traded, but if he's not traded, he's cut. One of those roster cuts. So he might even be cut by now that we're recording this Tuesday night. But anyways, it reminds me of that situation of a guy who in college was pretty good, but didn't necessarily excel at any one thing. And when you come into the NFL, being the jack of all trades, but not really being great at anything, that doesn't translate very well. And that's the issue, I think, for Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian would be a fine backup who maybe if you needed him to come in for a game or two, you'd be okay with that. But you don't want this guy legitimately starting for your team. And it's going to cause more problems for the Broncos.
And the reason why, and Bronco fans, I know what you're saying. You've already typed it. You've typed it in former videos and podcasts but Ricky, look at last year's quarterbacks. Peyton Manning wasn't that good, and Brock the Cock, we won off of poor quarterback play. But I would take any of those two over what you have now. Like, do you not understand that?
It's hard to repeat the amount of scoring, the amount of scores that the defense had, the amount of takeaways that the defense had. That's a hard thing to replicate. And the defense is not as good as it was last year. They lost quite a few pieces.
I'll even say this. Let's say you play the Panthers in the Super Bowl again. A Panthers team that, as of right now, still has Kelvin Benjamin because he hasn't been injured like he was last year.
Yeah, not yet.
Number two, that team now knows what to expect from you. Mm-hmm. They now know, hey, we saw them last year. Now we know what to do. Cam Newton is, A, going to come in with a chip on his shoulder because he's want to beat you.
Yeah, we're going to see that week one.
He knows what to do to beat you. So it's one of those. I got the Panthers winning that first game. Mm-hmm. I got them winning that Thursday
I do too.
nighter.
I think that I have the Broncos at 7-9 right now. But if I really wanted to go through and start chipping away at some of these, because I don't really believe in Trevor Siemian, I think that they're gonna lose quite a few of these games, and I can't see them beating Kansas City at all anymore. I can't see them sweeping anybody in the division really anymore. So it just kind of is. I don't believe that Trevor Siemian lasts very long. And then once Paxton Lynch comes in, I think we're going to see that he's an incredibly unprepared quarterback. And if anything, it's really going to test how much John Elway and Gary Kubiak believe in the future that is Paxton Lynch. Because if they're like a 4-win team, like Ricky thinks they're going to be, they're in the very top. Okay, yeah, they're not going to draft a quarterback this year. But if it repeats, because Paxton Lynch still isn't ready, people were saying that this guy is not he's ready next year, but he's a 2-3 year project potentially. That's why some people were surprised that he would go in the first round, because he was truly, truly a potential pick. Mm-hmm. If he's not going to be ready for 2 or 3 years, do the Broncos eventually end up moving on because they have a different coach or something?
It's one of the things I believe I heard this mentioned on The Herd with Colin Cowherd. And it was basically, do you think the Broncos are sitting there going, man, we should have been more prepared for this. We should have been more prepared for this situation, knowing that Brock could eventually leave.
Well, I think that
knowing that we pissed him off enough with Peyton that he was going to walk.
I think in the offseason, I think they knew he was going to walk, but I don't think they cared that much that he was going to walk. John Elway didn't really try to pay him.
But they should have had a plan B.
Their plan B, honestly, was Mark Sanchez. And I know that for someone like you who hates Mark Sanchez, thinks that's a joke.
That's like a plan Z.
But I'm exactly what John Elway was in that situation, what Gary Kubiak was. There is no reason why Mark Sanchez should have lost that job. It was set up for him on a golden tee. All he had to do was not fuck it up. And what did he do? He royally fucked it up.
Well, and he that fucked it up so badly. Mark Sanchez... Like, I know
he's done. He's got to be done.
And
right?
I know how people go back to
he's a Vikings starting quarterback now.
I know how people go back to but Ricky, he did go to 2 straight AFC Championship games, but that was a very systematic. Mark Sanchez is the kind of guy where you have to manage him. You have to manage him, and he can't fuck up. Where you got to set him up like, okay, this is it. Boom, there it is. But you have to manage him the whole game. I think that's
exactly what this was supposed to be. And that's why people are so surprised that he lost a job, because it was exactly that. He's got John Elway and Gary Kubiak out there.
But he even isn't.
But that's the thing.
Nowhere near what he used to be.
He should not have fucked this up. That was the backup plan. They felt pretty confident that, hey, this will be good enough.
Now it seems like they don't have a plan.
And it surprised them, because the plan just got blown out of the fucking water. And now it's just like, how could this guy have lost this? We gave him everything. What the hell happened? And now, they're kind of scrambling a little bit, but I think they want to save face and they want to say, hey, we're okay, because they don't want to show they don't want to show that they're panicking. They don't want to show that they truly don't believe in Paxton Lynch yet. Because right now, Paxton Lynch is number 2 on that depth chart.
Bronco fan, I'll tell you this, your quarterback situation is a bigger deal than you want to make it seem. Pull the veil off over your head and see the real world for what it is. Your quarterback situation ain't great, and I don't care how many weapons you have around or how many good of a defense you have. I'd take Sexy Rexy back in 2006. That he's better than this quarterback situation.
At least Sexy Rexy can throw 5 interceptions and not lose.
Unleash the dragon, man. Yeah. Fuck it, I'm going deep. But unless you have anything to add, is there anything we missed with this one?
No. I mean, I think that given the choice between Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, and Dak Prescott, I just want to give love to Dak Prescott. I'd rather have him.
If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, I want to thank you for sticking through this long one. This was a long podcast, mainly because of that Colin. It was the Colin Kaepernick situation, that whole topic, and then we had to put Teddy in there because of what happened. I want to thank you guys for listening on Blog Talk. If you're on SoundCloud, remember, as of October 1st, we are capished off of the SoundCloud, and we are only at blogtalkradio.com/most valuable podcast. Go ahead, leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about anything we talked about in today's podcast. Go hit up our Patreon, patreon.com/most valuable podcast. Just another way for you guys to support the channel so that maybe we can bring you more video podcasts in the future if you're tired of looking at this still image that you see on the YouTube channel. Our Twitter's down in the description. One last time, I'm thanking you for listening to the podcast, and as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.